what if they typed in the word in uppercase or lowercase? Um, so turns out there's some commands that can actually help you that. You can actually force it to go to lowercase, and if you search around, you can actually think it's actually like something like word dot lowercase or something like that, and it'll actually squash it, so if they enter in capitals and things like that, it will disappear for the time being. But that's not going to be essential for this. Really, lowercase letters is just fine. Okay, so hopefully that's a nice little hint, nice and sort of helpful. So next I'm going to show you, just a couple of things. I guess I just wanted to remind you. Here's just a real simple thing of how does how do you access the things in a list, right? So here, instead of printing out the whole list, I want to print out one thing in the list. Okay, so this, pretty straightforward. Hey, look, Jess was the third thing in the list. Remember, we count 0, 0, 1, 2. So when I print out list 2 like this, hey, I get Jeff. Okay, that's great. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. That's kind of fun. Now, let's say I had, let's just kind of get rid of this for a second and just say I had some word, and it's going to be, or I don't know, maybe a phrase. And I'm going to say, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy, I don't know, dog. Hooray, that's traditional. Okay, so here we go. Now, if I want to print the phrase, I just say print phrase. Okay? But another thing I can do is I can say print phrase from, let's say we'll go from like 3 to 10. Okay? And let's kind of see what happens here. So if you see this, it actually just, when I did 3 to 10, it actually just pulled out the word quick. Okay? Now, wait, that's kind of weird. What just happened? So if we take a look here, you can see, and notice that it got a space here too. So remember how this all works is by indexing. Okay? So it basically went here and said, well, this is spot 0, this is spot 1, this is spot 2, spot 3 is that space. Okay? Index 3 is that space. And then what do? We go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it cuts it off right before you get to 10, which is the B. Okay? So this basically says is includes 3 and stop at like right before stop 10. So this is kind of a hard stop, and it sort of includes this. So if I went to 11, hey, look, it got the B. Okay? If I didn't want that space, I'd say, hey, look, run this. Now, this turns out to be kind of a cool thing. I can do something like this, okay, and maybe I can do something like, ooh, I will take my phrase, and what I really want to do is maybe I want to do like the 15th thing all the way to the end. Okay? So watch what happens when I do this. Notice said, hey, I got fox jumped over the lazy dog, quick B. Okay? So if I don't put anything, let's get rid of this for a second. If I don't put anything after the colon, right, it just does it all the way to the end. Similarly, if I put something, I don't put anything before the colon, it just starts from the beginning and goes to a certain distance. Okay? So some of you guys can already see this is going to be kind of a fun way to like write programs that kind of chop and mangle and switch around words and do things like that. That's actually one of the things that Python's particularly good at. So there's some other kind of fun things we can do. So we have print phrase. Let me just do this, where I can say, I don't know, my list equals, let's do phrase dot split. Okay, and then we'll print the list out. Okay, check out this awesome feature, is that I can actually use this split command, okay, and if I don't do anything special at all, it will actually make a list of every word in this sentence, and it breaks it up by spaces. Okay, so now I just figured out a way. Well, what if I care about the words people type in rather than the individual letters? Well, if I did a split based on the sentence they typed in, now I'd have, you know, sort of a list that was generated over the words that they typed in, and I could do things with the you know, one word or another. So there's some other things that we can do, which is kind of cool. We can do list.sort. And let's print our list again. Okay. Hey, look, we alphabetically sorted the list, just like that. Okay. That'll work actually on, if you have letter things, it'll sort it by alphabetical order. If it's by numbers, it'll actually sort them by numerical order too, which is actually kind of nifty. Okay. One of the other things you can do is, if you look around, let's say you wanted to split on other things, like you wanted to split off of apostrophes or parentheses or, you know, anything, periods, anything you really wanted to put in commas. You can put in some commands in here to get things different to happen. I'm not going to cover them in this one, but that's kind of the things you can do. So hopefully that is a thing. Oh, actually, wait, I didn't even show you this one. So it might be useful to you. Hey, if we do list.reverse, hey, it flips the list around. Okay? Sometimes you want to maybe get things to, you know, turn themselves around. A lot of commands like this that you can do on lists and on and similarly on phrases and words and things like that. So anyways, kind of get used to these things, start playing with them. You know, in terms of the homework, you really should be in pretty good shape. Taking a look at the different assignments. You know, the Hangman one has a lot of parts to it. Now, there's that Invent with Python book that I kind of recommended has a, we'll say, sort of fancy version that they've put together. And I really don't want you to just copy what they did. Okay, you know, if you're really stuck, you can look at what they did in that book. But really, I want you to do kind of like what we talked about. Some of you guys, you know, we powwowed a little bit today. Is, hey, break it down into smaller chunks. Okay, what's the first thing you need to be able to do? What's the second thing you need to be able to do? Programming is really about learning how to chunk it into a small problem that you can solve, you know, kind of piece by piece. Okay, if you try to look at the thing as kind of a whole problem together, you're really going to struggle because you get overwhelmed, and everybody gets overwhelmed, right? Even the best programmers in the world, if they don't, you know, chunk up the problem, it's very easy to get overwhelmed. But it turns out even complicated things break down very nicely into little pieces, and then you say, okay, well, you work on this, you work on this, you work on this, and then, you know, life's pretty good. So, anyways, I should be back on Monday. You know, to do a little more hands-on, one-on-one stuff. You know, feel free to email me. I'll try to check my email. Keep you guys up to date. Cheers.